There we go, day 25, people. Day 25. Day 25. All right, are you excited about it? Now, we're going to try and keep this one short today because we got a lot of stuff to do. We got a lot of stuff to do out there today. Happy day 25. We're almost there. Tomorrow, we got a fantastic live. We're going to have a live. I'm going to try to get some things updated on that program, and some people told me that my audio sounds like somebody was frying chicken in the background. Can you believe that? Crazy people. Well, I do have a fan blowing on the camera so it doesn't get hot during those lives, you know, because the camera has an internal temperature regulator and it automatically shuts off if it gets too hot. I didn't know that. But I did some research and they said just put a fan on it. But now I got to put an audio filter to make that fan not be able to sound. And you know, it's one thing after another. Another person told me that I could turn off that temperature regulator. So maybe I'll do that, you know. Or maybe, hell, I'll just stop frying chicken in the background. You never know. You never know, right? There's all these things coming down, okay? So on that live tomorrow, it's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about some good stuff. Just me and you, and maybe hey, we might even have one or two other people come by. I don't know. We'll see how it is. I'd like to have that happen, have good conversation, you know. I used to be able to jump on YouTube, and I was watching YouTube, you know. I used to be able to jump on there and find 2 or 3 videos every time. They're like, oh, that's interesting. Ooh, I'm watching that next. Ooh, I'm watching that next. Now what do you got? I got nothing. I got nothing, you know. I jump on there and, you know, I got my daily schedule. I got the, you know, ROTC guys, you know, talking about the news, you know. And then after them, I'm looking for stuff to watch and, you know, to keep on while I'm drawing. I got a couple other things going on, you know. You jump in there for that long burger. You get over to Nightwave. You watch, you know, There Goes the Neighborhood. Some other things like that, you know. And depending on what day, you know. But anyway, long story short, where's the good conversations? You know, and I could tell you what, you could tell a bad conversation right out the chute when they start talking with these big words and everything, and they just dancing around everything and dancing, and no, there's no solutions to nothing. We're never going to figure nothing out, people. There's just no, I mean, have you tried listening to Sean Hannity? Every once in a while, I'll get in a car. You know, I hardly ever listen to AM radio. I used to listen to it all the time. Used to be a big Michael Savage fan, you know. You know, the Savage Nation and all that kind of stuff, you know. And who was that other guy? I used to listen to him every once in a while. I forget, but you probably know what I'm talking about. But I have never been a Sean Hannity fan, and or a Bill O'Reilly. Like, what the fuck? You know, those guys, you know, they're all like fucking terrible. Anyway, I jumped in the car the other day, and I'm listening to Sean Hannity just fucking pour sewage right into my fucking car through the speakers, bro. I had to turn that motherfucker. Oh, it made me so mad, bro. It made me so mad. Oh, there's just no fixing it. That's just how it is. The Democrats are always going to Democrat. Republicans are always going to Republican. I guess we'll just talk about it again tomorrow. You know, I was like, Jesus Christ, bro, come on. Firing me up. You know, and I think that's what's they're trying to do. They're trying to put us in a position of learned helplessness. Okay? Now, who cares who they are, right? Who cares who they are, right? Can you do anything about the they? No. Can I do anything about the they? No. Can I affect any change on the they? No. You can go and start looking into who the they is if you want to. You're going to find out. It's some really deep, dark, you know, creepy stuff, you know. And you start focusing on that stuff, and that can be a little bit of a trap in itself, you know. Because now the more you're focusing on it, the more your life starts to revolve around it, the less your life is focused upon the creativity you know, and raising your lifestyle, and it starts to pull your life down. You know, it starts to put anxiety on you, you know. It starts making you go around to your friends and stuff and say, well, did you know about this human trafficking? Well, did you know about this? And they're going to be like, I just want to drink my Starbucks. Did you know who owns Starbucks? You know what I mean? And then before you know it, you ain't got no friends. Bro, I've been there. I ain't got no friends, and you're just like, I guess I scared them all away. You know, you can, I think somebody said you can overdose on red pills, you know, become too-based. You know, people, you don't want to become too-based. You want to have that cocktail talk and then have the real deal talk, you know. And there's more and more people getting based now and, you know, on to the truth. But still in a lot of them, they're in the minority. And so when you go out into the world, use that cocktail talk when you go out in the world, okay? So say, oh, how you doing? How about them Dodgers? Hey, how you doing? You know, what about that basketball crap? You know, I mean, can anybody take sports serious anymore? Can anybody take sports serious? You know, Michael Jordan, he got caught gambling on the Chicago Bulls back in the day. They covered that up, made it look like he took a break from basketball, you know. And then they did Pete Rose wrong, bro. They did Pete Rose wrong, you know. They fucking kicked him out, tortured his ass, you know, and only thought about putting him in the Hall of Fame after he died. They did him wrong, okay? They're all gambling on it. It's all rigged. If you didn't know that, it's all... Look at me right here, okay? So... I just did what I told you guys not to do, right? I'm trying to have cocktail talk with you guys. And I just got real for a minute, right? Maybe I rustled all your jimmies up. You know, all your jimmies are all... They're all rustled up now, right? Coming to understand that professional sports is a bunch of bullshit, okay? It's a scripted play for men. It's a soap opera for men, okay? You guys figured that out yet? The amount of money that sports yields is a fraction to the amount of money that the gambling upon that sport yields. It's dark money. It's the black economy, people. Wake up, okay? Anyway, also, haven't you noticed how sports is now shaping society? Have you noticed all of the feminine attire, all the feminine, all the gender fluid bullshit that are in sports now, with the men wearing... like LeBron James wearing a pearl necklace and carrying a Birkin purse that women carry. Or like these other people dressing in female clothing. Yeah, dude, it's sewer. It's toxic. It's bullshit. You know, there was a time when, you know, I think about that movie that Mark Wahlberg did, you know, about that guy who was, he just walked off the street or whatever. And he got on the Eagles, you know, and he played for the Eagles. I forget what that movie's called, but it was a fucking awesome movie, bro. It was about an everyday guy. Maybe he worked at a steel mill or something. I can't remember, but he was an everyday guy, one of us, you know, and he made it. Just showed up, open tryout, and ended up making the team, and then ended up, you know, doing great in the season. That was a banger of a movie, and I think that's what we all want to think sports are. You know, we all want to think that that's what sports are, but that's not what they are. So what's the answer then? What's the answer, Professor Ray Ray? Well, the answer is to focus on your life and your creativity, okay? You got to bring it back there. There's all these things that they're trying to give you. I don't know who they is. You know, the juice boxes or whatever. And they're trying to give you to focus on. And all the things that you focus on drag your life down. Drag your life down into a labyrinth, you know, and there's no way out of that labyrinth. Every turn that you take, there's a tax, and they tax you your attention. They tax you your money. They tax you your focus. They tax you your opportunity costs coming down the road that you miss out on. So what do you have to do? You have to focus on the things that lift your life up. When they lift your life up personally, then that has effect on the people around you and your sphere of influence, and that lifts their life up. See what I mean? They say, oh, wow, look at so-and-so. He's really passionate about collecting stamps. You know, my grandfather had some stamps in the attic, and they ended up going up there and finding a stamp worth, you know, $300, and they're all tickled to death. So now they're a stamp collector. Okay? Now you and this other person are going to collect stamps, right? At a stamp convention. You meet other people, right? That's how your life opens up. Now what I would say is don't turn to that stamp collector and say, you know, this whole thing is run by the government. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to ruin your that nice little thing that you just made for yourself? That nice little relationship, you know? Maybe it's Pokemon cards, or maybe it's, you know, maybe you're going to Comic Cons, or hell, maybe it's not even that. Maybe you're going to do what we're going to do next 30-day challenge, and we're going to go outdoors, and we're going to paint. You know, we're going to paint. Okay? So why am I talking about all this? What's going on? Okay? Well, happy day 25. Welcome. That's a nice little intro right there. Are you stoked? Get stoked. Is your critical eye beating you up? We're in the final days here of this challenge. You're supposed to be writing. You know, post that story, okay? Enter the competition. The critical eye is going to tell you, you know, oh, your story's no good. It's going to beat up on you. It's going to, oh, you suck. But you got to overcome that. You got to keep the momentum. You got to tell yourself, you know what, it's not really about the story. It's about completing the challenge. Okay? It's about getting the ball over the end zone, over the goal line. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay? So tell that critical eye to back off, that you're going to get this done no matter what. Even if it's one page and it sucks, you're still going to turn it in. You're still going to produce, right? You've been held to account. You're still going to produce. Even if it's just one paragraph. It could be a story about watching these videos. Ray, I was watching your videos. I really like the art videos, but why'd you do the writing videos? I don't like those no more. I don't like those writing videos no more. And you got me writing this damn paragraph, and you're revealing to me that I've been living in a fantasy, and I hate you for that now. Ray, I hate you. You're my enemy. You know, maybe it's something like that, you know. But it's about the alchemical process. You know, the alchemical process, people. I use that word a lot because it changes you, right? Setting your intent to focus on writing, to harvest the gold, and to produce it, and to put it over the finish line. That changes you, okay? And it's a cyclical process, right? You're not going to be great at it the first time. Hell, I made a cartoon the other day, and I put it out there, and everybody said, that don't look like that person. That don't look like that person. What are you doing? You fell short. Oh, well, that's okay. I fell short, but I got the cartoon out. The next cycle will be better. No big deal, right? I'm not going to take that personally. And that's what you do when you put it out there, right? And that's why you got to protect yourself. You got to be able to master that critical eye. You know, Ray, that cartoon didn't look like him. I'm going to beat myself up and fall into depression for 3 days back there in my bed. And I'm going to eat raw cookie dough and ice cream, and I'm going to gain 30 pounds. And then I'm going to come out and say, I'm sorry, world. You know, fuck that. That's not what we're doing around here. We're out here to be champions. We're out here to be on the pirate ship. We're out here to risk our lives, you know, theoretically speaking. You know, we're out here to play for the biggest stakes, you know. When the people say they put that scale, when the angel puts that scale in front of everybody, the crowd, and says, who's going to step up on the scale and pay their pound of flesh to be measured? My hand's going to go up and say, motherfucker, let's go. You know, and that's what you want to say, you know, because that's where the rewards come from. That's where the rewards come from. I'm not volunteering to be measured. I'm volunteering for the reward. Okay? You're volunteering for the reward. So how's that schedule doing? Are you got it tight? You got that 30 days? That 30 minutes, you protecting that? Because it's a cycle. It goes in cycles. It goes in a pattern. Every cycle, you cinch it down like you're tightening a bolt. It's getting tighter. It's getting tighter. It's getting tighter. Then maybe by the 5th or 6th cycle, you're starting to make good work. By the 15th or 16th cycle, it's starting to be excellent. Okay? It's starting to turn heads. You get what I'm saying? Now, you're going to improve a lot in the first couple of cycles. But then the improvement is going to be incremental in the later cycles, right? It might take 2 or 3 cycles to go from 97% good to 98% good. But that 1% is the difference between a professional that gets paid for their work and a hobbyist. You get me? And it's up to you to keep that fortitude, right? To help to get that 1% more. All right? That's out there for you to get. You got to believe it. That's what I'm here helping you do. I'm helping you understand the tool set, understand how to really use the tool set so that your hope is not just copium. It's not just bullshit. It's fantasy, but it's real. And you understand, listen, man, you ain't just going to go out there and change that tire without getting your hands dirty. You got to change that tire in your car, you're going to get your hands dirty. All right? Now, I got a funny story about a flat tire. And these stories that I'm telling you, the reason why I'm telling you the stories is because your life presents an opportunity to create writing every time you turn around. It's there, it's there, it's there. Are you able to see it? Are you observing it? Are you recording it right here, filling up your gold chest so that you can use it later? And then are you unpacking that gold and actually doing the writing so that you can get more gold, right? If you fill up your gold chest once and then leave it filled up, it ain't gonna get no more gold, right? Because it's clogged. You got to clog of gold. You got to pull it out. You got to put it on the page. You know, you got to write it. So that's why I'm telling you this. Now, a couple months ago, I was going to have some sushi, right? And I was all excited about it. And I was taking some people with me. We were all excited about it. And, you know, where I live, there's this big, huge El Cajon Pass, right? You got to drive down it, okay? I'm up in the plateau, the high desert, people. When they say high desert, they mean high. They ain't fooling around. And there's this El Cajon Pass, and you got to drive down this motherfucker, right? And the elevation drops about 4,000 feet. It ain't no slouch. It's a big grade, you know. And they got them big truck pull-offs, you know, on the side. You know, the big gravel pits that the truck ramps can go down and they go up to stop them if their brakes fail. Anyway, I was driving in my car, and it had a low tire pressure light come on when I'm driving on this grade. I'm like, what the hell, right? And that happens every once in a while up here at this altitude, because when it gets cold in the night, it can make your tires, you know, lose air pressure and leak a little bit or whatever. And then it gets hot again, and the air, you know, expands, and so you kind of got to be on top of that once or twice a year when the weather changes. All right, and I wasn't on top of it. So I'm driving down the road, right? And then I got this little light pop on. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Not on sushi day. Not on sushi day. Right? And the El Cajon Pass is a big truck corridor. You know, big semi trucks going through out there all the time. And you got a couple of trains too that run right there. You know, cargo trains. Pretty cool. I like it. It's fun to drive through and it's fun to see. And you get this awesome view. Big old view. It's beautiful. So I'm driving down it, like steep, like going like 100 miles an hour, literally going 100 miles an hour. Got that low tire thing jumps on. I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll address it. I'll fill it up the thing with air when I get down to the sushi place. You know, there's a gas station around there. So I'm coming down to the bottom of the hill, and all of a sudden, bam, my tire blows out. I'm not talking a little blowout either. It's the worst blowout I've ever had. And fortunate for me, it was on the back tire. It was on the front tire, I'd have been in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But it was on the back tire. And so I'm like, holy shit. So I got all these trucks next to me, right? And we're going like 80 miles an hour or whatever. And all of a sudden I'm seeing all this like rubber starting to fly by me, you know, and my tire's kicking off all the rubber. And so I'm like, I got to get down to the bottom of this hill or whatever, this big grade, and I got to pull over. And so I'm like wrestling the car, and it's fishtailing, you know, because it lost the back tire, and, you know, it's like spitting out all that hot rubber and all that stuff. And, of course, the people that are riding with beer look over, they're like holding on to the fucking you know, arm rest and all this kind of stuff. It was pretty funny. And I finally get back down to the flat part, and I pull over, you know, around this corner up on this bridge on the freeway, and I pull over onto the shoulder where to be safe. You know, I had to make sure of that. And I get out and open the door, and all these trucks are whizzing by me. You know, the wind is like coming off the trucks. You know, it's just like Jesus. And I'm sitting there, and I'm in my shorts, I'm in my hat, my tank top, my sunglasses, and I'm like looking at this rim, and there ain't a bit of rubber left on this rim, you know? And the melted rubber had fucking shot all over the quarter panel and everything like that, and I was just like looking down, and it had that steam and that sizzling coming off of it, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell happened? You know, couldn't believe it. But thank God, you know, nobody got hurt. I never lost control of the car. You know, it was like I was driving on snow for a while. It was just sliding. And we got down there, and I got the jack out, and I got it changed. And, you know, I went on and got the sushi and had a good time, and we were all laughing about it, about how we almost had a near-death experience. You know, so now, flash forward, I've gone to sushi a couple times, you know. And every time I pass that bridge, I look at the spot where I pulled off and I changed that tire, and we made it. You know, we made it. And that's a little story right there. You can make it. And then every time you're gonna pass that place, you're gonna remember it and put a little monument right there. We made it. We made it. And what that does is it proves to you that it's not all about hope. It is about making it. And you can make it. Okay? So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to tell you that little story. I wanted to give you a little bit of that encouragement, so that you can process that hope into action. Process that action into success. Process that success into a memorial, a testament of your achievement. That's how you change your life. Okay, now get out there, change your life, write that story, let's get it up. Come on now, go.